We got a chance to visit Red Door today and see the construction in progress, and there's lots of sheetrock and stuff like that. And there were some small issues, oversights, things that had kind of gone a little bit astray, tiny bit, that were easily rectified. So thank goodness for that, except for there's one thing that's our problem and it's our fault.
So originally, the pedestal here that the pyramid spins on was 27 inches, because it was an arbitrary number that I made up when I was coming up with the first model, and we played with that some, and in working with the pyramid, we decided that 36 was just going to be a better height for the piece to be. The doors into the game are all 36 inches, which after it's trimmed out, it's actually only like 35 and a half, which means that this won't fit in the room anymore. Fortunately, they're only halfway done the sheetrock and haven't trimmed up the door yet, so it's still 37 and 1/2 inches, which this will fit into for the rest of this week.
This means that we have to stop what we're doing, do our paint job, finish everything out on this guy, and deliver at least the pedestal section. The pyramid can always go in after the fact, but the pedestal section is to be done, and it will be built into the room, and it ain't coming out unless you take the walls apart. I knew a guy who built a boat that way. He built a boat into his garage, and then he was like, oh. And he took his garage apart to get the boat out. I'm not sure why I'm telling you that story, but...
story?
So we're going to stop everything and do this.
You talk about boats. We're going to go paint stuff. How about that?
Okay. A quick word about paint additives. By that I mean is just weird stuff you can add to paint to make it do stuff. This, in this can, is a pre-catalyzed satin lacquer. You just buy it at your paint store. It's a clear coat. Now I'm going to apply this as a sealer to our stone, but I don't want it to look thick and I don't want it to have any kind of gloss. This is satin, and so it'll have a little bit of shine to it. To eliminate the shine, I'm going to add a decent little dose of cornstarch. Now, I'm just mixing it in this to wet it. I will fill up my HPLV gun. You'll see that in a second. But I'll dissolve this first, and that'll flatten out our finished paint. There's one other thing. This is this uses carrageenan. Carrageenan is a seaweed extract. You can buy it at the art supply store. It's a dry powder. You mix it and make a solution out of it, and if you add pigment to it, these are all water-soluble things, you can make different batches of different colors and sort of comb them into each other, and all the little flecks will stay distinct. Now, you can't just brush this because the agitation of brushing it will destroy all of what you've done here, but in order to keep all those little individual flakes, we are using... This one's a little bit more expensive than the cheap one you can get. You can get these at Harbor Freight or something like that, but this is a texture hopper gun. So you take your gloop that you've made with all the different colors in it, stick it in here, and then when you spray it, it's a low pressure, big aperture, just sort of blast it onto the wall sort of in a way, and that way all your little colors stay distinct, and that's a fast stone technique. At least that's the first layer of stone that we're doing. We're going to do some work on top of that, but the initial hit of a lot of different colors, which is what stone looks like. When you look at granite and stuff like that, it's a lot of different colors. So that's how you do that. Hey guys, this is called a pounce bag. It's a muslin bag and it's filled with talc and pigment. This one is actually from a company called Manhattan Wardrobe Supply, and it's frequently used to age clothing on film. So it's real easy it's a powder, and it's not just a loose powder though, it's in this bag. So it enables you to have some control. The bag ends up being the brush. This one is in ash. It's just an earthy off-white, bit of a gray. This comes in lots of different colors, and it is used not only for wardrobe, but it's used for faux work. The pigment has a little bit of a binder in it, so it sticks to whatever you touch this to. Anyway, what we're doing here is our stone needs to have aged a bit. So the outside of the stone is oxidized. It's a little bit chalky as opposed to a freshly milled stone. So we're going to do a little bit of work with this and see what kind of effect we get. Okay, so the stone right where we have it right now is our carrageenan seaweed special stuff, and I've done a little fleck effect on top of that. We've got a nice stone texture in it, but this is a little too fresh, and I just want to age that a little bit. And you can see this is subtle, but you can see I'm just chalking the edges, and that gives it just a little bit of age, and softens some of the flecking on the edges. A little hair come out of there. This stuff is manipulatable. That's not a word, but you can manipulate this stuff. In other words, if you put a little bit too much on, you can probably dampen a rag and get some of it off, but you won't get all of it off. So this is something you sort of want to be careful with. And that's it. So that's a pounce bag, and it's a pretty neat little deal. It's about $10, I believe, from Manhattan. I'm sure you can get these on Amazon or lots of other places. So that covers our finish for the pyramid for now. That's enough to get it in. We may do a little bit of weathering in place, but very little because it's a protected room. We're going to be showing you some installation videos soon, so you'll see us actually working in the space and putting all that stuff together and show you the final product and how it all looks. We'll be doing that soon. Share this with your friends, and there's somebody you know who will be incredibly interested in this, and share it with him. And like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, and we'll see you soon.